Hello everyone! Hope you're doing amazeballs today. And today's lesson is I'm going to teach you how to do a great title for your persuasive or discursive essay. Today's word of the day, just to expand one's vocabulary, is furtive. Ooh, fancy. So that's an adjective which basically means secretive. So obviously you're trying to avoid attention or being noticed. An example would be Amy gave a furtive look at the expensive dress in the window. So that's, when you're trying to do a glance without being noticed, that sort of thing. And today's spelling word is humorous. I don't mean the bone, I mean funny. Oh, I just fell. Didn't actually read that. So humorous. So that's one of the spelling words. Remember, tomorrow we're going to do a spelling bee. Woo! Where you can thrash everybody in your house. The list is on the Facebook page, the Aim Higher page. So have a wee look and see how many you can get right tomorrow. Just for a bit of fun. Pun of the day. I like my cheesy puns. I asked the lion in my wardrobe what he was doing. He said, Narnia business. Narnia. Right, so why is a title important? You won't fool the essay if you have a bad title, but just remember it's the first thing that we see. So just like if you meet someone, what kind of first impression do you want to make? So that's the same with a title. So that's why it's good, it boosts the essay if we have a really clever, catchy title. So the marker or the reader will be impressed if you can show that you have really thought cleverly and carefully about your title. You've not just shoved any old thing down at the end because your teacher said, where's the title? So try and think about a title because it can make a big difference. Not maybe in terms of marks, but just like I say, that first impression will be like, that's a serious candidate. So as I said, it creates a positive vibe about your essay before we even start reading it if it's got a good title. The title should be sort of, it just shows that it's been well thought out. You've not just scrambled it on the bus on your knee on the way into school because you forgot. We get a feeling for the essay. So it's just anything that boosts that sort of positive vibe from the marker or the reader is a bonus. So it's it's a good thing. So what should the title do? The title should refer to the essay's main idea or argument. So obviously what it is that you've been focusing on. Plus, it should be engaging and interesting, something that catches our attention, and also reflect the overall tone of the essay. So it's all going to be based on what it's about. Gonna no do that. So what I mean by that is, I don't know how many times over the years I read persuasive essay or personal essay as the title, right? That is not a title, that's just a task. So a title, you've never opened a book and somebody says, that looks good, what are you reading? It's called book, or it's called poem, or it's called short story. It's really good, it's a short story. So you don't get titles of films called film. So that's what I mean. That's just the task or the genre. Think of a name, right? So it's not personal essay or persuasive essay or whatever it is. That's not a title. Make it clever, okay? So there are things you can do to make it clever, and that's what I'm going to try and help you with today. So firstly, you want to make it snappy. I've just done an onomatopoeic lesson, snap. So alliteration is great. So remember, if you don't know what these things are, there are other videos I've done which will remind you. That's when you repeat words with the letter, or it's got the same letter sound in the words. Negatives of space travel. So no to NASA is a wee bit catchier than the negatives of space exploration. Right? So it can be, that's what I mean, snappy, exciting, dramatic. You could also go against the grain, go against what we would expect. So you can create impact and maybe a stronger impression if you go against what we would expect. So if you write something like, say your essay was on the positives of binge watching, obviously the word binge suggests a negative, but if you write, don't whinge, just binge, then we're like, eh? Why is that? I don't understand. Binge is a bad word, no? So that could be quite catchy and gripping and we want to read it. That's what you want to do. So again, whinge and binge are an example of rhyme. So rhyme is another technique that you could use to get a great essay title. So like axe the tax, for example, or let's get drastic with plastic. There's another wee example. Word choice, just like your essay all the way through, we've got word choice can be great in the title as well. So you want to use strong, emotive words that pack a punch. So consider using adjectives, words that immediately show your point of view, what side of the argument you're on, whether it be for or against, and anything that sort of shocks the reader or disgusts us or enrages us is also helpful. So that's what the emotive language is for. So a wee example could be, and I've highlighted the strong words here, poisonous pageants, the mental health catastrophe, Snapchat or toxic obsession, the ugly truth of plastic surgery, see what I did there, ugly, the nuclear nightmare, so again we've got alliteration and the word nightmare suggests what side of the view I'm on, the miraculous nurses, I think we would all agree with that right now, and victorious video games. So again we've got alliteration but it's a positive word, so that suggests that I'm going to do an essay on the positives of video games. You've had enough of these over the last few weeks from me, but puns are really clever as well. So if you're not sure what a pun is just a play on words where you maybe spell words a wee bit differently to give it a different meaning. Alright, so it's meant to be funny. Obviously it's that kind of funny where you're like, or, you know, if you're a teenager. That's funny, like. So it's meant to be a joke. So it's obviously a homophone, which is a word that's got the same meaning, sorry, the same spelling or sound, but a different meaning or a different spelling. I said that wrong. So it's basically a word that sounds the same, but it's got a different meaning. The humour comes from that confusion, right? So homophones or changing the spellings can be an effective way of creating a title. So what there was somebody once did a fractious time. So the word fractious, if you don't know what it means, expand your vocabulary, go and look it up. Fractious is just a C, but her essay was about fracking, so she changed it to a fractious time. So that's quite clever because that's obviously the negatives of it. Puns, again, you know, depend on what your topic is about, will depend on if it's something serious. You know, if you're doing it on child poverty or something, I wouldn't suggest to have a pun. But if it's something a wee bit light-hearted or not as serious a topic, then you could certainly think about a pun in your title, because the reader might appreciate it. You know, anything that makes us go at the beginning puts us in a good mood for the rest of your essay. So wee examples of puns, these are my favourite, as you know by now. So, I'm dreaming of a tight Christmas. Stay away, get it? So that's obviously, that essay was about the true meaning of Christmas, how it's all just commercialised, that sort of thing. Time to tackle the problem. That was an essay about how do we, you know, should we ban school rugby? So obviously tackle, quite clever. Veganism, this is one of my ever favourites. A big missed steak. Missed steak. That's the negatives of veganism if you were doing it on that, for example. At Disney, always have a happy ending. Disney. That could be like the influence of Disney films if it was a negative thing, you know, if you're portraying that everything's great in the Disney films and we'll have a happy ending. Another one could be so hung up on our phones. Hung up, phone. So that could be one about an obsession with mobiles, that sort of thing. Or KO is not okay. Obviously that could be a danger of boxing essay. KO, knockout, not okay. See what they did there? Repetition. Repetition can be another technique that can be effective. Just like in your piece of writing, if you repeat a word or an idea, that suggests that you want to draw attention or emphasis to it. So you can have something like grammar is going, gone. You know, if your essay was about grammar schools should be abolished, or that grammar today is appalling, we should focus more on the basics, sort of stuff. Smoking should go up in smoke, that sort of thing. You may also repeat something from your essay. That can be quite effective. If you can't think of a title at all, have a wee troll through your essay. See if there's a phrase or a word or something that you think that could be quite a catchy title, and that's where you could maybe try and embed that into your last sentence of your conclusion, which is something I've done in the other video about how to make a great conclusion. Other techniques just to finish, so questions, just like through your essay, things that make us think, like rhetorical questions are useful. Can money make us happy? Some would disagree. Are robots taking our jobs? You know, so these are obviously to make us want to answer or think about the topic. Using punchy punctuation, like an exclamation mark, that could be quite effective. You know, like the axe the tax, Facebook, the foe, that sort of thing. So you could use a variety of punctuation to spice it up. Other techniques you could have a quote in the title. So, like Martin Luther King, I have a dream, probably the most famous speech ever, or a quote from a song. So you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. So that could be, these could both be titles for an essay about the importance of racial equality, or, you know, trying to change the law and that sort of thing. You can also use commands. So say no to nukes. You know, you're being told, you better say no. Watch it. Or throw out that energy drink. Put it down right now. That sort of thing. Okay, so that's plenty of techniques. I hope you've had lots of food for thought on how to create a great title. And if you come up with one, pop it in the comments and let me know how you get on. Alright, so tomorrow we're not doing word choice. That's now a day ahead because we're going to do the spelling bee instead. So that'll be the next day's lesson, I'm afraid, the word choice one. So get your pens and papers ready tomorrow for the spelling bee. See how great a speller you are or not. And if you're too embarrassed, just sit and hide it, you know, like in the class, covering it up. I'm not letting anybody see it. If you haven't already done so, if you found this useful, have a look at the other videos I've got on the Aim Higher YouTube channel. And if you haven't, please like and subscribe, comment if you like. And if you haven't, please also join the Facebook page where I've uploaded all the resources, all these PowerPoints and some work, extra work to do at home to help you. If you're not on Facebook, there are the links for the Google Classroom where all the resources are as well. So you can ask to join that and come in and get all the materials too. And if you want to say thanks if I've helped you in any way over these videos or the course of the last few weeks during lockdown, then that's how to do it. Just send me a wee pound or two. Keep me in a cup of tea. Thanks very much. Alright, great. Well done. Look forward to reading all about your titles if you can tell me what they are. Good luck! Alexa, play.